Welcome to the third part of Unit 3. We ended off Unit 2 by looking at levels of specification. Now we're looking at the table of specification here for a chemistry unit where we are seeing the different areas: knowledge, comprehension, application, and so on. And what we notice here is that in the content we have the physical, chemical, and other areas here. We notice that there's a balance of marks, a percentage weighting based on the different areas here. So that, again, as we said in the end of the last part of section 2, we need to have balance. Very important here, balance in the whole process here. Here are some factors to consider when deciding on the format of the test. We must know what is to be measured. We must know the size of the class. We must know the time available to prepare and score the test. Very important here. Here's some directions here. Directions to be clear, concise, and to the point. So as you give instruction in your test, in your exams, make sure that the direction is very clear. I've seen too many exams with very ambiguous directions. Keep the directions and associate items on the same page, even if the directions need to be repeated on a subsequent page. Very important here. So that every page will have the directions there in full view of the students. The directions should include how to record answers, the time available, how answers are scored and the points associated with specific subtests or items, what to do when the test is completed, explain what is permissible. So that are things that we need to follow as we go through our exams. Include an icebreaker item which virtually all examinees will answer correctly to build confidence. So your first question on an exam should be very, very easy. Everyone is going to get here. Then group similar content together on the testing instrument. Use items designed to measure important content, as testing time is almost always limited. So the kind of questions that we are going to have is dependent on the amount of time we have for the test. Arrange the items on the test instrument. Use items of appropriate known difficulty level where possible, as we saw in the specification tables. Don't break items across a page. So if you have to break an item, you must move it to the next page, the whole item to the next page. Keep charts and figures pertaining to an item on the same or the preceding page. So don't have them as near as possible here. If you're using a computer printer, use a consistent font or font size strategy. And again, it depends on what you're doing here, the kind of exams as such here. The normal size would be 12 point would be use a print that is very straightforward, like for example what I'm using right here, Aria. If students are required to supply an answer, provide enough room for the answer. Very important here in a test. Now, instructional objectives or outcomes should include both minimal, lower level, and developmental, higher level objectives or outcomes. Very important here to remember that when you're grading. Important here. Grading issues. Communication to whom, about what, using what evidence, shared how. In other words, whatever issues that you may have with grading here must be clear in the minds of students. Very, very important here to know that. Questions for establishing appropriate grading practice here. Is it appropriate to factor the following in the report grade card? Achievement, intelligence, effort, attitude, Is it appropriate? I think so. And too many times we have seen report cards with the same thing, could do better or something. So rather than try to use the space to say something about the overall achievement, intelligence, effort, and attitude of the student here, that I think parents would generally appreciate. Here's some other practices that we need to follow here. Consider arguments for and against. Create a balanced scale reflecting a clear analysis of all factors. Factor students' achievement into report card grades. Include unencumbered index of academic achievement. So what are you seeing here? Let's not just limit. You should not at any point in time have just a test to alone as the only means of appointing or having a grade or judgment or a grade for a student. We put all other factors as separate grades, but sometimes those separate grades, like in the case of assessment, it can be used in helping to formulate the overall cumulative grade or the overall grade. Learning ability, improvement, or effort should never be used as indicators or evidence of achievement, since they present an unfair advantage to some students and penalize others unnecessarily. So don't grade students based on their learning ability, improvement, and effort. This should not be used to determine their achievement here, because if you grade everybody with the same thing there, then some are going to be penalized and some are going to have an unfair advantage over the others. Some grading practices. Students, teachers. Students are clear about it. Achievement targets they have been set. They know what standards they are expected to meet. They understand the grading procedures that will be used as far as the student is concerned. Teachers, you gather evidence over time. You translate evidence into a composite index, and you begin instruction with a complete picture of the grading process. So at the very onset of your class, students should know from you as a teacher how they are going to receive their grades, what is going to be used to accumulate or to get to factor in their grades. Ways to determine grades. Assess at the end of the grading period. Average, midterm, and final exams. Assess unit by unit. But whatever method of grading you choose, always tell students up front how grades will be determined. We need to move away from the concept of assessment as judgment and competition, or as a way to obtain grades. That assessment and grades, these things that's not supposed to be coming together here. Assessment should be seen mainly as helping students in the teaching and learning process. But we need to move towards a vision of assessment as reflection that can improve classroom instruction. Very important. Some things to think about here as we end of this unit here. You've taken many multiple choice tests in your life. How well do you think your scores on this traditional paper and pencil tests have reflected your true level of understanding? What are performance-based assessments usually more interesting for students? What formative assessments have you been part of lately? What is it about traditional pen and paper pencil assessment that might be considered not authentic, and what might an assessment which follows the principles of universal design look like? Later on in some of the group projects here, some of those things about tests, different kinds of tests, and so on will be looked at in some more detail. Some key points here. Traditional paper and pencil assessment is used to measure knowledge and basic understanding. It is usually scored objectively. Performance-based assessment is used to measure skill and ability. It is usually scored subjectively. And as I said, more will be discussed when the group presents in the next couple of weeks. Formative assessment is used to provide feedback to students and teachers. It allows students and teachers to monitor their own learning and teaching and change their behavior. Authentic assessment is used when teachers want their assessment tasks to mirror methods, skills, and behaviors that are valued outside the classroom in the real world. And lastly, universal test design is used when teachers want the assessment to be understandable and fair to all the students. This brings us to the end of the unit here. On the Moodle platform, there is a video that is also, as I included, that can be looked at get a clearer understanding. I chose that as you would have gone through the notes yourself, that it would be clearer, and as we move forward into the next section, you'll get a clearer picture in the whole area of assessment and evaluation. Thank you very much.